Hey, what's up, guys? Little man with a big opinion here. So, I've got some tea brewing, and I've got some dishes that need to get done. And I figured today's topic for our video could be the most important thing to stockpile for barter, trade, yourself. I think it's the thing that every single prepper should have in their stockpile. And I think it's kind of sad that this is the number one thing that I want to put in my preps. Uh, and it's just because it's the United States. And I think that is sugar and sugar alternatives. Uh, we're a very fat country. Uh, just about everything we consume has a large quantity of sugar in it. Uh, it's in our spices, it's in our cereal, it's in all of our snacks, it's in what we drink. It's it's part of everything we consume. There's a reason why the United States is the fattest country in the world. Uh, so rant aside, sugar I think is an extremely important spice to have in your preps. Because it can turn the dullest foods into, you know, something edible. Uh, it puts a variety in your palette of foods that you put away that I think is super important. When I started putting a bunch of oatmeal away, at the same time that I'd fill up a 5 gallon bucket of oatmeal, I'd fill up, you know, 2 quart size jars, mason jars of sugar because I knew I would add it to the oatmeal. Same thing with the corn, making sweet corn, turning, a plain vegetable into kind of a snack. Uh, it works the same way with the rice. You can make sugar rice, and it turns it more into a dessert item than, you know, a base for all of these different meals that you're making. All of the wheat that I've put away, uh, sugar can, make cakes with that. I can make, uh, kind of crappy pancakes. Uh, just sugar is an all around a very useful item. And I think when the world goes to crap, it's one of those higher things on the list that, you know, people will want. People will put a lot of time and effort into providing you something so that they can get this comfort item. Uh, and I'm only making this video because I'm rewatching the Doomsday Prepper show, and I remember there being this very large guy on there. I don't remember his name anymore, even though I just watched it, about 45 minutes ago. But his entire prepping strategy was to be the supplier. He's got all of these goods and services, or he's got all these goods that he's going to trade for services so that he can write out the end of the world. And he put a lot of time and money and effort into his supplies. And he had a few people that he knew they put more effort into the security and the defending aspect so that he could focus on that part of the problem. And so if you have a large enough group, I strongly, suggest one of those members in the group is the person that puts away all of these different barter items. You're only two heads are better than one. You're only as strong as your weakest link. You need to make sure everyone in your group is providing something. And if you have people in your group that aren't going to provide what you would typically think of in a survival situation, then they could definitely just be the person that puts, goods aside. And I think sugar is a very good starting point for that. I'll face y'all this way because my tea's starting to boil. So, just using tea as an example, this is one of those items that it's it's pretty good on its own. We can turn it down a lot. There we go. But it tastes so much better when you can add some sugar to it. Oh, that's a nice glare on the video. Let's turn this back this way. Hi, Aurora. So it's a very solid item to put hundreds and hundreds of pounds of it away. I will say, if you put it away in something like, mason jars, make sure you've boiled them, they're nice and sterilized, and they're completely dry. You put your sugar in them. When you seal them up, if you're doing Mylar bags and oxygen absorbers, it's going to keep stuff from growing and living in it. If you're just going the mason jar route, then freezing it for about 5 days will do the trick. So, like, in my freezer currently, I'm still making these little 2-person meals. They're a 7-bean soup. I just pulled this out of the freezer. Haven't marked the lid. I marked the lid after I pull them out. This one's been in there a bit past the 5-day mark, because sometimes I'm a little skeptical. But the little bug eggs have died on this food, and it can store on my shelves until I'm ready to eat it. So you do the same thing with your sugar. You set it aside. I suggest a cool, dark place, but other than that, it's good to go. I think I've ranted enough about sugar. I only see pros for it. I don't. The one con that I think is you getting overweight in an apocalyptic situation, but I don't think that's really going to be an issue. I consider it the second tier white gold. I'm going to keep toilet paper above it, but when it comes to just making life better when everything around you seems to be falling apart, the old saying, a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. I think that is a perfectly good quote for this prepping video. So, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think, sugar should be the number one thing that you're prepping? We can have a discussion on why you think it should be beans or bullets or something else, but I think sugar is the number one thing. So, with that being said, leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel. We're growing. Got like 4 or 5 over the weekend. That was kind of cool. And lastly, if you got a friend or family member that benefit from these videos, share the channel with them, and let's keep growing. With that, catch you in the next one.